support.
Amen. So, Robert O'Dean, who do we have with us today?
This gentleman wears a lot of hats. He's an author, a singer, a producer, a musician, a radio show host, and a record company executive. None other than the one and only Darrell Luster. Good morning, Dr. Luster.
Good morning. How are you?
Man, we are blessed. We are blessed and just thankful to have you on the Wake Up Morning Show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm honored and privileged.
Well,
I can't see you anymore.
all you gotta do is swipe to the left,
Swipe
swipe
your
to the left on your phone.
Now I see everybody.
Yes,
there you go. Good morning to you, sir. How you doing? And,
I am doing fantastic.
man, and we also want you to look extra sexy, so we're gonna need you to turn your camera long ways so they can get the fullness,
the fullness of your glory.
Look, I have gained weight, and all of me will not fit on no camera.
Oh no, we just want you. There you go. Yeah,
There you go.
Nice and full.
Right. We all are kind of trying to shed
The COVID weight.
The COVID weight.
So I'm gonna start off with you straight up,
Yes.
and I don't want you to get offended, because I always gotta start off with the hard hitting questions to start off with.
Okay.
So tell me, back in the day, when you got into music, did they call you Dimples, and did all the women come to you because they was mesmerized by the dimples?
No, absolutely not. When I started singing, and actually started singing when I was at home with my brothers, the Luster brothers.
Yeah.
And I think one person, maybe my pastor, called me Dimples.
Okay.
That's all.
But
Right.
did the dimples
and then
get you in
from there
trouble
on,
back then?
No. I mean, that's why I say I'm the youngest of 15 children.
Oh, wow.
15,
And
yes.
people always say, or you were spoiled because you're the baby. You listen, when you were poor, we didn't have no way to get spoiled.
Right.
So the only thing that would happen for me that was fortunate for me is when we had to do chores or something, and they would just say, "Move, Darrell. You don't know what you're doing."
Right.
And because they were trying to get it done so we could do something else. And
Right.
so they would just knock me out of the way because, But anyway, no spoiledness, no special treatment, no nothing.
Right.
Okay. Now my uncle Euless and Blake and Aunt Marie had 18 kids.
Jesus.
I just want to start off by saying there was 15 folks in your family.
Jesus.
How did y'all all get to church?
Well, we went to church. First of all, we were right around the corner from the church.
Right.
Okay.
So
Right.
if it got real wrong, we could walk.
Right.
But having 15 children, we weren't all at the house at one time. So
Okay.
in other words, there's 15 years between me and my oldest brother. Wow. So he was gone when I came along, and such as the other. I had the next to the oldest brother. He was in the military when I was born. So it was just kind of like that. It wasn't like we were all 15 people, plus parents in a house.
Right.
That's kind of how it was. But then church, sometimes I remember people coming to get us,
Mm-hmm.
in addition to us riding in our car. Like we're riding with so-and-so today, or two of y'all come on and go over here, because it was quite a few of us. We were the church, I tell you that.
Right.
Amen. So here's not my last question, but I got to ask this question.
Right.
There was
Okay.
15 of y'all. Now, if me and Pookie down the street got a beef with the Luster children, who would y'all send out to handle the beef?
Okay, that's a great question. It depends on, we find out who Pookie was, and we say, how old is Pookie?
Right.
And they say Pookie is 17. Then we find the 17-year-old and we'd send him.
Let
We
them
were
handle.
fair,
Uh-huh.
We gonna beat you down.
If so,
He said we gonna beat you down, but it's gonna be age appropriate.
yeah, it's gonna be age, bro. Yeah, if somebody messed with me, or something. And then, if it was in my classroom, then I was supposed to handle that.
Right.
But then if his older brother or something jumped in,
Right.
then we find out how old he was, and then we find the brother that's his age,
Right.
and that's how we'd handle that.
Right.
So, how many brothers and how many sisters?
10 boys and 5 girls.
Wow.
Boy, the girls didn't have to worry about nothing, did
Right.
Not a thing.
So how did the
Not
group
a
get
thing.
started? Who started the group, the Luster Brothers, or the Luster Singers?
My oldest brother. My oldest brother introduced us to gospel music, introduced us to singing. The most of us didn't even know we could sing, but he would sit us down on the couch and he would say, sing this and say that and whatever. And to me, I often say that it was kind of funny to me that when we finally would hear those songs on the radio by another artist, because we were singing songs that, the Soul Stirrers were singing, or the Nightingales.
Right.
And I was like, oh, wow, we sound just like that. So he was a good teacher, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start off with this. You have a historic career in music,
Yes.
but not in just in front of the mic, but behind the scenes. How did you get with Malaco?
In the 70s, I'll give you the short version. In the 70s, and probably 1975, a guy in our hometown invited us to come over to his house to listen to a new album, and I do mean album, LP,
Right.
that had just come out, and it was the Jackson Southern Airs.
Wow.
And he specifically wanted us to hear a Frank Williams singing this song, Lord, remember me. Lord, please remember me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, I haven't heard anything that polished since probably Sam Cooke.
Mm-hmm.
And then the music was a different music. And so from then I started wondering what in the world. I would read the back of albums and try to figure out what's going on in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi. I wanted to find out who was Wolf Stevenson, because he was the engineer.
Right.
And how you just see names and you wonder, who's that and who's this. And Frank Williams, and Frank was doing the producing. And so then they started signing like the Soul Stirrers, the Nightingales, the Violinaires, Willie Neal, all of my favorite groups anyway. In 1984, Charles Johnson, who I ended up singing with, he was with the Nightingales at the time. He left the Nightingales and started a group called Charles Johnson and the Revivers. That was me and my brother and Charles. And so Charles had one more album to complete his contract with the Nightingales. So he drove down and we rode with him. So we got an opportunity to see Malaco Records. And I've been struck ever since. And that was my first session, because what happened was there was a conflict of scheduling, and the Nightingales didn't show up.
Wow.
So they had a new lead singer, and so they needed time to prepare, but we didn't know. So we came down to the studio, and they said, well, Charles, he wanted out of his contract. So he said, well, Charles, give us 4 songs and you're out of your contract. And so, having no musicians, me and my brother were there, and we played on the 4 songs to get Charles out of his contract. Never will forget. So what was a field trip turned into a job.
Right.
And my first session at Malaco in 1984, and I've been bit by that bug ever since. So from there, we went on to just kept on. Tommy Sr. hired me as an in-house producer, even though I was living in North Carolina. So all of the quartets that would come in, I would produce them: the Angelics, the Pilgrim Jubilees, the Nightingales. I put together the Soul Stir reunion, and a lot of different things like that. And so eventually, as things changed, and we shut down the office in Savoy up in New York, and they shut down the office in Muscle Shoals and different. Tommy Couch Jr. became the president, and he wanted everything up under one roof. And so he gave me the opportunity to come down here, and I took it. Been here ever since.
Now, that was a divine setup, and that was God. That was God orchestrating your steps to to be placed in a position like that, but you and your brother were ready, and many young artists and people that want to be in the industry need to be ready. Your preparation should be like he was in his family group, in his church group, doing something to prepare you to get used to singing before people and prepare you on how to have stage presence. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about art, the
Absolutely.
artistry of it.
Well, that you're absolutely right. You know, I see a lot of artists, and this is the reason why I say people send me songs all the time. They'll say, "Can I send you my song?" And I be honest with them and tell them, you know, it's really not going to do a whole lot of good. I like to hear good music and everything, but I want to see your stage presence. I want to see how you. I went and saw some singing here not long ago, and the guys, the way they were dressed was offensive to me, you know.
Right.
And I I guess it's just the change in the industry now.
Mm-hmm.
Presence that they're a good lead singer. That you know because all the time it's not just how good you sing.
Right.
You've got to be able to. People have to love you. They have to like you.
Mm-hmm.
They have to want to come. Some people can get on stage and sing one song, and people will throng their record table and buy all of their CDs.
Yes.
Because they like them.
Yes.
So it's a full package. It's not just singing. It's a full package.
So let me ask you a question. I got this group called the LTs and the LTAs, and they real good.
Mm-hmm.
They real good. How do
No, we don't.
how do I get the LTs and the LTAs to Malaco audition?
Darrell, he don't.
See, there. Now that's a good question because I get that all the time. People want to come in and they want to audition. If we did that for everybody,
Right.
we would never get any work done.
Come on.
So, and then we'd have to listen to everybody, and 90% of them are not worth listening to. So we start off by saying, "Send us a demo."
Right.
Send a demo. We have a demo address, demo@malaco.com.
Right.
And we listen to that. If it's worth talking about, we'll go to the next steps. Then it may be a situation that, you know, we want to come in. We want to see. That's another thing that has changed. A lot has changed in the business. A lot of records that we do now are done somewhere else. Mm-hmm. All of the records back in the day were done right here, and artists got an opportunity to come here, fellowship. It was like a family.
Right.
So willy-nilly, you would come down. When I would come down here, it was no telling who you would see. I mean, Johnny Taylor may be here doing something. Little Milton may be here.
Oh, yes.
The angelic gospel singers may have been in here mixing, or, you know, Willie Neal. There was always somebody here. And so now it's kind of like everybody, for economical reasons, maybe they're going to cut in North Carolina, or maybe they're going to cut in New Jersey where they live or whatever. And so we don't get the camaraderie like we used to. And that's kind of what I miss, and I kind of like it. I like where we can come together, where you can come to Malaco, sit down, and let's, you know, meet everybody and know who's working your record and know what you have.
So let me ask you this question. This is the reason why I said that as a hypothetical group is really about when you say send the demo in, are you looking for a visual demo or a video? Or are you looking for just the music itself, number one? And then number two would be, are you doing full-on record deals, partnership deals, 360 deals, and do you just offer distribution?
I'm going to try to answer all of those questions. One, I would rather you just send me a song, or MP3. Okay. The reason being because most people don't know how. They'll send me a YouTube of them singing at, you know, Second Baptist Church, and it's loud. The music is wrong. And that's not fair to you, because as soon as I see it, I'm gonna turn it off. I'm just not going to listen to and try to see you when Sister Flute just stood up in front of you.
Right.
I'm just not going. I'm not going to do that.
Mhm.
So I would rather you just send me. You there?
Uh-huh.
I would rather somebody try to call me. I would I would rather just you send me just music. And secondly, we're look for anything. However, people call me all the time and ask, can we have a distribution deal? Most people don't really know what a distribution deal is.
Come on.
Distribution is where you're the company. You're the company, and you've made enough noise and enough brought enough attention to yourself
Fan
to
base.
where people wherever music is sold is trying to get your music, and you can't meet the demand, so you need a house like Malaco to take care of it. Most people haven't made any noise, and then they come to me and they say, I want a distribution deal. Well, you're the company. What have you done? Well, I figure you could do so and so. No, that would be an artist deal. So then it turns into something else. People have heard the terms and they think that, distribution deal is the way to go. But at the same time, you got to make noise for yourself. You got to get up there. You got to work radio. You got to, if it's time for you to go to the Stellar Awards, you want to go, you got to pay for it because you're the company. We're the distributor.
Right. And in this climate of the industry, they're looking at your social media presence. You got to have followers. A lot of labels, they go to that now, looking at all your social medias to find out if people want you. Of course, your mama say you sound good, and the members of your church, which may be 5 or 10, they're gonna say you sound good because that's what they're used to. But on the industry side, they want to know that you have a following because that helps them push
and
what
I
you're
try
doing.
not to be as critical sometimes, but this is what we do in the industry. We have to do this. Okay, so it's the group that you just mentioned a minute ago. All right, so I know we got it, man. I know we got it. Okay, send me something, or I may just do the research myself and go to YouTube or go to your Facebook page, and I say only 127 people have watched your video, and it's been up since 2016. I try to not to be as critical and just say, if nobody wants to see you, nobody wants to buy your music.
Right.
But you may not have, as you just said, a good understanding about social media and how to promote yourself and how to do something and keep things going. So that may be something. So I try to look beyond that sometimes and say, well, we can help there.
Right.
Our company, we have a social media team, so we can help there. If you got all the parts and you just need us to kind of put them together and help, we can do that. So I try not to be as critical just because you only had 112 views on your thing.
So, as an executive of a record label, I make sure that I keep my label at a certain number of artists so that I can service them all well. On Malaco, what is that magic number that you don't go over when you look at bringing artists aboard?
I don't think that there's a magic number. Here's what I do think that you have to do. You don't want to put everybody out at the top of the year, because that's too much to promote at one time.
Yes.
If I call you guys and say, hey, did you get the new Canton Spiritual single? And you say, yeah, we got it, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, how's it doing there? Whatever. Okay, I can't just talk about the Cantons if I've also put out this and that and this and that, So I need to be able to give attention to all artists and give them a good attention and equally. So I don't think it's a magic number of saying, okay, well, we've reached our limit.
Right.
Because the industry is vast now. We have labels on top of labels. We got Malaco, we got Four Winds, we've got Muscle Shows, we got Atlanta International, Savoy, so many different labels, and we know how to work those to where most people don't even know that it's another label, but it's all up under this one roof.
So how did you guys acquire all these labels? Because you named Savoy, Malaco, Muscle Shows. These are all legendary labels that have sustained the test of times and have had more than just gospel artists who were phenomenal.
Well, it's just like anything else. They became Atlanta International became available for sale,
Right.
and you know, and they acquired it. Savoy, same way, they
Wow.
acquired it.
Wow.
We have a label that's older probably than any label that you can mention, which is Apollo Records, which goes way back to Mahalia Jackson and early Dixie Hummingbird stuff.
Wow.
Oh, it's a heck of a catalog.
Wow.
But yeah, so and now that the music business has taken a turn, we're fortunate that when somebody's looking for a song for a movie, somebody's looking for a song for a commercial, whatever, our catalog is so vast that we spend a lot of time trying to find songs for the right movie, for the right commercial or what have you. So it's a lot going on. If you notice, a few years ago, I don't know, well, it's still kind of continuing on. The sports, ESPN,
Yes.
would the guy would deal with the Mississippi Mass. I'm not tired yet
Yes.
because of the
Yes.
show coming on real late at night, and he would be covering the sports, and he would say, "Well, I'm not tired yet," and so we sent him "I'm Not Tired Yet" from Mississippi Mass Choir, and he's been playing that ever since.
Wow. That's amazing.
So let me ask you this question. About 3 years ago, I came to try to hook up with you, and I bought a slab of ribs and some cornbread, and they said that was the secret weapon to get in to have a meet with you. It didn't work for me. So now I got you face to face. I want to know the next time I come to your area, what do I need to bring to get a meet with you?
Oh God.
I'm just playing.
You
And look at
you
Darrell.
got it,
Look at Darrell. Darrell's like,
I'm really
I'm trying to remember
I
that.
love any kind of food. So that it's just not ribs, but but any kind of food will work for me. I'm telling
Yeah. See, I always laugh at this because
Oh, Jesus.
a lot of times people don't realize that when people are trying to get to the executives, we see all kind of things. People come with food and gifts, and they have all these different gimmicks, not realizing that if your music is really, really good,
Speaks for
and
itself.
if your packaging is right and everything like that, it will ultimately open a door for you. How do you
you.
how do you live your life, being that you're in that key position for a label? How does it impact your daily life when you're just trying to live life and go to the grocery store? I don't know about you, but I remember the Temptations when they handed Barry Gordy a tape in the bathroom on the show. I'm like saying he's trying to use the bathroom, y'all.
But that
So,
happens.
how does this position impact you when you're trying to just do daily life?
The daily life for me is well, first of all, I'm not from Jackson. I live in Jackson now, Jackson, Mississippi, but I'm not from here. So people don't know me as well here as so I'm good at Walmart. I'm fine. Plus I go in, especially now with the pandemic, I go in Walmart
Right.
and
Right.
and I know exactly what I'm going there for when I'm in and out. But the worst places, to be honest with you, are concerts and conventions. So, I mean, and it used to be real bad because I don't turn anybody down, So if you come up with a CD and you say, "Hey, Mr. Luster, I want you to hear this or check this out," or this, so on, so on, so on. When I would end the event, I would have a stack of things and I'd be walking around. And some of the stuff, and this is what I tell people now, please send it to the office. I promise you I'll listen to it.
Wow.
But please send it to the office because it's not fair to you for me to stop and talk to a radio announcer and leave all these CDs on the table
right. That's
when
right.
I leave, because I will leave them. I'll forget. So, and then they get their feelings hurt and say, "Well, if it meant something to you, you would have."
Right.
No, I just don't need to be walking around the convention with 9 CDs in my hand.
Right.
So, I just say there's a way to do it. And I promise you I'll listen. And we're still, thank God that Malaco has done well enough over the years that we're still surviving. We're still recording. Most companies are like legendary companies like Malaco are museums now, so you can go into them and
Right.
tour and see where they did this and where that. But we're still a functioning record company each and every day,
Wow.
and we're still recording projects, putting music out every day. So I'm still looking for artists. I want the next Lee Williams or the next Mary. I'm looking for that.
The
Ooh, wow.
LTs and the LT ears. Praise the Lord.
I'm looking for them.
See, look at he looking for
Looking
me.
for
Darrell,
send me a demo.
Darrell, don't you do it, man? Don't you do it?
Man, Darrell, I just dropped my first single this
Jesus.
yesterday.
Help us, Lord.
And man, I tell you, it's skyrocketed. It's skyrocketed. I'm number 4,221 on my own chart.
On his own chart.
He created his own chart.
There you
Yes.
go.
Well, thank you
And
for
he
your
couldn't even make
creativity.
he couldn't even make himself number one on his own chart.
See, ain't there something?
No, we couldn't do that. We had
Right.
to be truthful.
Right,
We
right.
got some work to be done.
Right.
But the reason why I say that is because I tell people all the time, talk is cheap.
Yes.
We really need to see your work ethic, and we need to see if you're willing to invest in yourself before
Absolutely.
you ask for somebody
Oh
else to
yes.
invest
Oh
in
yes.
yourself.
Oh yes.
You know what I'm saying? So let's just talk about the music now. Let's go on to the music.
Let's talk about your music.
Yeah.
Because we talked about Malico. You're an artist too, and we ain't gonna let you off the hook. Let's talk about you being an artist.
Well, yeah, I am an artist as
Mm-hmm.
well. Like I said, I got started in the business back in the '80s with the Highway QCs. I came on the road with the Highway
Oh my
QCs,
God.
my brother and I,
Legendary.
and from the Highway QCs, as I said, one of the Nightingales got sick, and the Nightingales was from my hometown, Durham, North Carolina. So they were like my hometown, group.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew all of their songs, every part, every guitar part, every, whatever. So when the guy got sick, they asked me to come in. And that's how I met Charles Johnson and started working with Charles Johnson. And from there, we started the Revivers and went on. Charles has since passed, but that started my career. That started me writing. That started me producing and having an ear for the different things and, being able to listen to stuff like that. But doing the business part, I told somebody a couple of weeks ago that I've been so busy putting everybody else's music out
Come on.
and working everybody else's music that I hadn't done anything for myself for a while. And so I finally got an opportunity to put out a new CD, and just came out October 16th. And so, yeah, I still travel. In the last few weekends, the last couple of weekends, I've been out, been wearing my mask and ducking, but,
Right.
I still enjoy. That's a first love of mine,
Mm-hmm.
to get on stage and to sing the things that I have written. That's a feeling that's unexplainable.
Mm-hmm.
To that God gives you a song and you're able to sing it to people, and it blesses them, or it helps them, or it encourages them. That's an unbelievable feeling, because I can always sing something that somebody else wrote, and I
Right.
know that they love that because they hear it on the radio all the
Right.
time. But when you create something and people enjoy that, that's an overwhelming feeling.
Now, I want to let you know we're excited about playing this cut that
Yes,
you sent us.
we're excited.
But I also wanted to let you know that I'm available if you need me.
Oh God.
I got this signature shh that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? And even I'll throw a package deal in and bring Robert Earl Dean with the percussions, and he'll play the
Jesus
tambourine.
Christ.
And see, look at. but no. One of the things I love about you, my friend,
Yes.
is that you don't forget. The way that you and Robert connected,
Yes.
and the way you treat people.
Yes.
You're one of those executives that we love because
Class act.
you're an artist, you are an executive, but more
Arthur.
than anything else, you're Arthur. You are a genuinely nice person,
Yes.
and it's hard to find those honest brothers in the industry. So I want to salute you
Yes.
for just being who you are.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think it's because of all of those things. Because if you're going to be an artist, people got to like you. Now,
That's
if you're a
right.
record executive and that's all you are, maybe you're hardcore and you can be mean and you can be all of that, but it's all of those jobs. I give you an example. Writing songs. I used to be when I write songs, and I would give a song to Margaret Allison of the Angelic Gospel Singers, who didn't need anybody to write for her.
Right.
I mean, she needed nobody to write for her. She was a great songwriter herself. And so when I would write for her, I would be so scared that, she's going to throw my song in the garbage can,
Right.
and or the Pilgrim Jubilees or Willie Rogers or people that I have grown up listening to when I was writing for the Nightingales. These guys didn't need my songs. And so I think that you end up incorporating a humbleness as well as, the other part. So I think that's the thing that I've always said that I think I can offer to the industry is that I'm an artist, I'm a songwriter, I'm a producer, I'm a publisher, I'm a record executive. And sometimes you have to take off the executive hat and put on the artist hat and say, I don't think, that they would do that or this, so you got to kind of look at all sides.
Amen.
How can the fans follow you?
I'm one of those ones that we talked about earlier. I have all of those pages. I have all of the Facebook, and everything is Darrell Luster, DarrellLuster. Everything. I had an Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that stuff. I'm just not great with it.
Right.
So you can, I'm probably 90% Facebook, so you can contact me there. But I'm old fashioned. I'm 56 years old. December, I'll be 57 years old. So the best way to get me, pick up the phone and call me.
Communication.
That's why, is I got children, and I'll get on my children. And I'll say, I haven't heard from you, and God knows when. And my daughter will tell me, yes, you did, Daddy. I texted you the other day. That's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm 56 years old. I want to hear your voice.
Yes.
I want to hear. So that's kind of how I am. And I tell people a lot of times when they contact me on Facebook and they want to, we want to book a date. Okay, call me. I'm not booking a date on Facebook.
Right.
I want to know who you are, where I'm coming, and that's just not me. Right. And that may be the way the world is now. Just not going to be Darrell.
Right.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I'm 55 years old, and I always tell people that there's nothing like picking up the telephone and talking, because a lot of times I'll ask my team and my staff, I'm like, well, did you talk to him? Yeah, I sent a text. I sent an email.
Yep.
No, you didn't answer my question. Did you talk to him? Because the bottom line is they can always say, look, I ain't never heard from you and everything like that. But when you hear the voice, then you know you've communicated with him.
Right.
And so I agree with you 100%.
Right.
Here, I got a song up here called God is Still in Control.
Because he is.
Can you tell us about this song and then introduce it to the world, and we get ready to jam with you?
Because of everything that's going on now, I want to encourage people. The pandemic, our political situation, trust me when I say we're in a mess. Washington, D.C. is jacking up everything. Trust me. But I wanted everybody to know that God did not go on vacation. He hasn't forgotten you. He still sits high. He looks down low. He still holds the world in the palm of his hand. Out of all of the billions of people that are on this earth, he knows who I am. He knows who you are. So God is still now. Somebody said the other day and called it on my radio show. I had this part my radio show where we played the song and people can call in and say God is still in control because whatever. And so somebody called in, they kept saying God is in control. And I said, no, he's not. He's still in control. He's still, because I want you to know that he's the same God way back when he opened up the waters for and when he got the children out of the fiery furnace. He's the same God, the same one that did that is still in control today.
All right, preach, preacher.
Preach it. Come on now.
Here you go, here you go. This is God is Still in Control by our friend,
Our friend, Mr. Darrell Luster.
Y'all pick up the phone and call him.
God bless you.